to Sup Talk Radio on a beautiful Sunday afternoon. There are a lot of firsts for Sup Talk as well as my guests. In 10 years, I have the first husband and wife team. I have the first female-owned energy drink company, the first veteran-owned energy drink company, and the first black-owned energy drink company. Now, who could I be speaking about? These guys, if you're not on Instagram, social media, they are all over. Every day you're opening up and they're opening up new channels. But I'm gonna stop. I know I'm excited. Allow me to introduce I Supreme and Tony of Octane Energy Drink. Folks, welcome to the show.
Hey, Sean.
Hey, Sean, how are you? Thank you for having us. That was an amazing intro.
Well, I've spent the last hour or so going through all your feeds and whatnot, kind of learning as much as I can. But I can tell you guys are just, when you dialogue with people on DMs, you can kind of just feel the energy. And I don't know who really it is, if one person takes over more than the other, but you could just feel like positivity and energy and I'm going to leave it at that, just to be honest. I'm stroking egos, but I'm just being honest here.
No, thank you. That means a lot because for us, when we first got into it, we received some DMs as well, from other people wanting to join their podcast, and the positive energy wasn't really felt in those moments. Honestly, it was like one person reached out to us, and he just started like name dropping all of these people, and it didn't seem genuine. He just kept like overselling and name dropping. And we were like, no, we don't want to go on that show because it doesn't feel like it would be really for us. I feel like it would be more really for him. And and we were kind of early on at that like during that point. But when you reached out, once it was a way different. We definitely immediately I was like, yeah, let's do it. We're on board. We're coming on. We're on board. He's amazing. I read the stuff that you put out there. I watched some of the videos and everything. Kind of like do my research on you ahead of time as well. And yeah, I was like, this is an amazing opportunity. And honestly, if I'm being honest, Tony is the one who mainly handles the DMs. I handle the assholes.
I love it.
So if you got to break some news, it's coming from me most likely.
So when you say assholes, because we're not PC here, folks. It's the ones asking for free stuff. I'm assuming.
Oh, that happens a lot. Oh man. So we got people always reaching out asking for free stuff, right? And we met with our distributor on Thursday. It was Friday. When we met our distributor on Friday, who we're actually closing a deal with, we kind of got into that conversation, right? Because he also built his own drink company, and then he moved on to just doing stroller distribution.
Yeah.
And one of the things that we come across, and he brought it up, and we just followed up, is people will come and ask for free stuff, not knowing how much work you put into it, or they just don't care, right? Like if I take all of because we're debt free, we don't owe anyone, we didn't take out any loans, we completely funded this venture ourselves, including the warehouse that we're sitting in. So if we put all of our time, effort, money, and we even have our 2 employees, aka kids, helping us, it's kind of shooting everyone in the foot, like asking us to give free stuff when we put so much time and so much planning into it. And I honestly, at this point, I just ignore it and like let it roll off the back. In person is also kind of weird. I shoot them away.
Yeah.
Like, oh, can I have a free? I'm like, well, you can purchase like everyone else purchased, but people.
So what you're trying to say is a can doesn't obviously the can doesn't cost you like 2 cents to make?
No, the can is probably pushing 5, right? We're just really greedy. We want like a 600% increase on a price.
So let's go to the genesis, guys. When did you guys officially open? Because I feel like I've seen you're new, but I don't know exactly how new, or am I completely wrong?
No, we're new. We're very new. So we started planning. It's 2023. I always have to do this. I always forget what year I'm in. Like
COVID did that to everybody, brother.
Forgive me. So in 2021, it was she came back from the gym and.
Are you gonna tell the whole story?
No, I'm not streamlining.
There's still plenty of time. Go for it.
No, I'm streamlining it. But I was saying, so 2021, about I want to say July, she came back. She came home from the gym. I went early that morning. She went that afternoon because I was working remotely. She was still going on site. So she worked out later than me. So I'm home, minding my business, doing my work. And she comes busting through the door like the Kool-Aid man and was like, I have an idea.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I was like, what is this? She was like, I think we should start an energy drink. I was like, all right, well, let's work on this. Let's plan it out. We called some not co-pack, we called some labs to try to get the work done. And we were hitting our head against the wall for months. We could not find anyone good. And then we kind of like Tony got more frustrated than me because she's someone who when she starts something, she puts all of her being into it, mind, all of that energy, and it engulfs her, right? Me, I'm able to separate myself mainly like the military in me. I'm able to like whatever's in front of me is the most important. I'm able to separate things, even mentally separate tasks. So I didn't really become super engulfed in it. So I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about it. Relax. She went to work, and I went and I did some extra Googling, and I found a lab. It was perfect, and they had us, and they helped us set up every part after that. So we had the lab, we had the formulation, and then they were G's about this, right? So when we made it to the part when we're ready for co-packing, after the testing phase, our partner Anne from Drink Labs, Anne and Susan, they said, listen, we can you have to pay us to do it for you, or we can give you free information. We were like, we'll take the free information. And so they got it. So they gave us a list of like co-packers and stuff like that, like label makers, and we just followed the list and we just like knocked everything out.
Yeah.
Like,
so we literally like ABCDEFG'd it. Like we contacted, each person that had each ingredient that we needed in a structured format. We had to make sure everything was logistically like in place so that everything showed up at the lab and the mixing, can begin and things of that nature. But it worked out for us and we were able to do it. So we will make a year. We will be 1 years old as of August of this year.
But let's go back for a minute. When you busted in like the Kool-Aid woman, we'll say the Kool-Aid woman, if there is such a thing. Why an energy drink? Because obviously I consider this health and wellness as a supplement.
right.
But why energy drink?
So I come from the world of e-commerce. I had a hair care business back in 2018. It's still there, but I just didn't put as much fuel into it as of right now. But it's making a way back. Yep. And I was in Walmart. I was in beauty supply stores, you name it. And then COVID happened. And I was like, okay, well, we should like take the beauty brand online because that way we're not getting hit by insurance and things of that nature. And people at the time were really like, robbing the stores and looting the stores, if you will. And a lot of companies were losing money because of the damaged goods. So I'm like, what's another way to basically help streamline the e-commerce store? So I'm like people are being health conscious right now. The market is kind of wishy-washy. And I was just looking at the stocks one day and I was just looking at like Kimberly Thomas. You know what Kimberly Thomas is?
No, I don't, unfortunately.
Kimberly Thomas, they own majority of blow dryers in your restrooms.
Okay.
You ever look? Yeah. So they're everywhere. I mean, you name it, they're everywhere. And I'm sure they have contracts or some type of government contracts in that realm as well. So I said, what could we market that we know at the top of our just off the dome and we know the audience? An energy drink. Yeah. I come from the world of bodybuilding, competitive bodybuilding. He comes from the world of powerlifting. He's more enamored with the energy drink space than I was. But, with my business knowledge and the promoting and the marketing of it, I'm like, it's a win-win. So me busting in the house, I'm like, energy drink. And everyone called us crazy because we did it literally in the midst of COVID.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why like we took everything so personal when people tried to ask for free stuff is during COVID, like even though it was towards the tail end, we started planning in 2020, a lot of stuff was still going on. And there were like some trade issues and like getting certain ingredients.
Supply chain was messed up.
Supply chain was all jacked up. Listen,
yep.
It pushed us from starting back at least 4 or 5 months, if not longer than that, because we wanted everything to be sole sourced out of the U.S. We didn't want to have to buy ingredients from international.
We almost had to go to Australia.
And so So for certain ingredients, and even for like our aluminum was almost double of what. Well, it was almost double as what it costs now. Now it's cheaper again, but there was an aluminum shortage. So we had
Okay.
the aluminum shortage. So we had to overpay for aluminum because we wanted to launch at a good time.
Sure.
We found a good deal, but we still had to pay more than what we paid for the second round. And then for the ingredients, same thing. And then we had to get creative, and we had to call our lab and have them break certain things down so we can order in parts, because for instance, if you look on our can, we have B vitamins, right?
Yep.
You can buy it. You can get
B vitamin blend.
It's a B vitamin blend, but it's broken down on nutritional as B vitamins, different parts of B vitamins. But we bought it as a blend, so we couldn't buy it as a blend. We had to buy each component of the B vitamins and then have them blended.
Got it. Okay.
So it was so much, and then I'm like, okay, so if you ask me for stuff for free, not knowing that we just slaved over this, we put hours. We tested our relationship, our marriage. We were going at it, but like, look at us now, and like looking back at it, like we went through those things early on, right? So we like I said, like August is when we officially like launch, but not the drink. And then we, by the time December came, we were done with the testing, and then we started formulation in January, February timeframe was when we started our formulation process. And then we actually fully launched like product in store June of last year.
Now, has Tony ever come to you before with another crazy idea?
She always comes with crazy ideas. See, listen. So she's I
keep them in the clutch.
So she comes with the ideas. Then I immediately, because I'm a problem solver, like I'm a really analytical person. I like breaking things down and seeing how I can.
Am I not?
No, you are. No. So she's strategic. So listen, she's strategic, and on top of that, she finds ways to save a lot of money, right? Like she can find a cost-effective way to get things done. But like for me, like I was a kid who mom used to get mad at him because I was taking the VCR apart, right?
Okay.
Because I tried to figure it out. So I like figuring things out. So she would come with a problem, and immediately I'm like, okay, let me try to see if we could work through this and try to find the best way to get it done. Yeah. And originally, it didn't seem like a good idea.
He's the best reeler I know. He definitely knows how to reel me in with an idea. I'm like, we can do X, Y, Z. He's like, wait, let's start from square one.
Yes, but sometimes I let her run wild, and other times I'm like, you know what? Because I don't always want to be the person to be, let me reel you back in. Sometimes, listen, let me keep up with her and let her run and be her true self. But if it's like Olympia, that was a complete gamble. We launched in June. Olympia was in December. And we were mind you, we paid for everything out of our own pocket. We paid for our own travel expenses. We paid for every single thing, including the drink. So it was like, okay, we put all this money into it. What if you go to Olympia after paying for an Olympia table, right? What if we go there and we are not that successful? All right. It was always that, because now we paid all this money to ship product over. My goal was, I'm not leaving with anything. We shipped 600 cans over to Olympia. We left with nothing.
Good for you guys.
I'm not leaving. I'm like, we're not leaving with cans. We're shipping back a single box of our cooler, our tablecloth. We're not shipping anything back. We had a small box on a pallet because I refused. I'm like, we're gonna leave with no cans, and we're gonna have a great time. Yeah. And it worked out. So it's great to take those risks. Especially like it was one thing that was her idea. Like it was her idea to go to Olympia because I was thinking completely differently. So it was just something that just worked out, and we work really well together because of that. We know how to like balance each other out, and that's something that we especially learned through the process of even planning this drink. Yeah.
And how long you guys been married?
Since February.
So it feels like longer. So we've been
okay.
We got engaged back in 2021, and we pushed our wedding back a few times because of like COVID and like people having financial issues and everything, and like people getting laid off. So we wanted to be conscious of people's money problems and stuff like that. So we pushed it back, and twice, right?
Yeah.
I think, we pushed it back twice, including changing the location so it could be cheaper for our guests, because we did a destination wedding.
Yeah.
So how long were you guys together before you guys got married?
4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years.
Man, I give you guys credit because you get married, and to test the marriage right off the bat, you guys are doing business together in something like this. Because I always agreed, like I would love to be an entrepreneur, but I always told my wife, I don't know if I'd want to do it together with her. I mean, we've been together 23 years, but still there's that divide that, she knows
Yeah.
her lane, I know my lane. It's like, do we want to get in bed together, prefer? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No, I get it 100%. Like we went through that early on, right? Early on, we went through the same thing where I was like, we have two completely different ways of getting certain things done. We're on the
Yep.
same page with everything else, but certain things we have different operating styles, right? Like little shield busting the door, like let's do this. And I'll be, hold on, wait, give me like 10 minutes. Let me think through this so I can let me do some calculation to see
And
if
in my head,
it's feasible.
I thought about it weeks ago. So I'm just now telling you.
So it was like, so we had to like work through those things and learn how to work with each other, right? Like I remember early on, we would have like certain meetings with people like virtually like we are now, and like after the meeting, we'll be going back and forth like, why did you say this? Why did you do this? like what were you thinking? And we're like, so all like those early meetings and us like having like the powwow and like at the end, like just us two, it helped us kind of learn each other's rhythms to the point where we went to our distribution partner on Friday, and we were like this lobbing back and forth without any real hesitation because we got so used to each other's rhythm, and we were able to work through those things and work through the early stuff of like being married. Because if you like COVID, she went to work because she worked on a COVID project for the government, so she did go to work, but outside of the day she wasn't at work. We were all home, us and the kids all together, and a dog, right, in the same house.
We're all there
all the time, right? And then we're working with each other, and we're parenting with each other, we're doing business with each other, so it was like no separation. Like for us, so we had to pretty much like we had to like really figure each other out and know how to give each other space without having to leave the house, right? Because like I can sit down on the couch, watch my football. She'll be laying across the couch on the other side. And like that's giving each other space because I'm in my zone, she's in her zone, she's doing what she's doing, I'm doing what I'm doing. But like we're still able to be ourselves and give each other that same space and stuff of that nature.
Silent communication.
Yeah.
Well, you're physically together, but not mentally, and I get it.
Yeah.
And you need that separation, honestly, because you'll start growing tired of somebody, and the last thing you want to do is get married and grow tired of the person a month in. That's not a good look.
Okay, so you guys decide to do the energy drink, but now what are you guys trying to maybe accomplish? Was it like because the energy drink space is just skyrocketing and you figure, okay, we're going to jump in, we're going to take a piece of this crazy pie? Or like, what's the back thoughts behind this?
That wasn't even part of it, honestly.
Okay.
That had no bearing on us making a decision to join. It wasn't because it was on a rise. It was something that we wanted to get into. And me being in the Marine Corps, like you know how it is in the military, you pound energy drinks left and right, trying to keep yourself awake and all of that stuff, right? So I had a heart issue my second year in. I got diagnosed with an enlarged heart. So I became real like conscious of what I put in my body because I love working out, but I also want my body to be healthy enough so when my kids have kids, I'm able to bend over, play with them, or they don't have to like pick me up off the ground or anything like that. So I wanted to be real conscious of what I put in my body. So for me, ingredients was important. And I started limiting myself as far as like what I took energy drink wise because of the stuff that was certain energy drinks. So I started drinking black coffee and taking like a niacin pill, right? So black coffee is like what I lived off for a while for energy and stuff of that nature. So when she came in, we were like, listen, we can make something in our own image that's for the people that we want to service, right? Because we were the common person. We were consumers. We hear people talk. We hear what their wants are, and we're around them enough. So okay, well, they gravitate from this. They don't want to do that. This is something that's not good for people, right? So we're like, listen, how about we just create our own drink and take it from there, and then have something to pass on to the kids.
Yep. So how did you guys agree on 100 milligrams of caffeine? Is it 100, correct?
Yes. Mm-hmm. So we agreed on 100. So we had help from our lab as well. So we wanted 100 because the daily intake for the average person is 400 milligrams. You shouldn't even touch 400. Most people do. Most people blow it out the water. If I'm being honest,
you shouldn't touch 3.
Oh yeah.
I do. I did. I don't anymore because I've educated myself, especially after like studying ingredients and doing stuff of that nature. I probably go like maybe 200 milligrams of caffeine a day, if that. Most of the time I'll drink this, and I weigh 255 pounds, and I tell people if it can get me through a 2.5 hour workout, you should be fine, right? Like it's a lot of body moving over here. and it gets me through. So you should be good. So 100 milligrams. We were like, listen, how about we create something, right? Because me, when I worked, I would work out in the morning, 5 o'clock in the morning. Then I would go into the office. Then around like 12, 1 o'clock, you start dragging. You start feeling a little, whew, I need to pick me up. You're able to have another drink and still only be at 50% of your daily intake. So 100 milligrams, you're at 25%. Then a few hours later, if you want something else to pick you up later on in the day, another drink, and you're only at 200 milligrams, right? We met with someone yesterday at our Alzheimer's event, and they were like, we can't drink certain energy drinks. I won't say the names because of the massive amount of caffeine in them.
For sure.
And what some companies do, they'll have 300 milligrams of caffeine or 200 milligrams of caffeine in a can, and they'll tell you break it down to 2 servings. Who's going to drink half of an energy drink? Right? Because you can't reclose these pop tops, right? So you're going to drink half, walk away, and then measure it out. You can't even see through the can to know if you're drinking half, right? So it's like you don't know what half really is. So people will just finish the whole can because they also don't want to waste any money.
And from the women's side of things, I wanted to develop something that was like really light on the carbonation, especially for the moms with the pooch, right? Like, from pregnancy and things of that nature. But it's true, like, you start getting bloated or what have you, the first thing to go up is that pooch. And I'm like, what about those women? And then also the athlete that like does hit cardio in the morning and you want to get that energy. You don't want to pound and you're having all of that indigestion built up and all that gas built up on an empty stomach. So we put a lot of trial and error into it as far as like how can it be for the typical everyday person, but also targeted these areas that typical everyday person has an issue with.
But now with all due respect, do you guys get a lot of flack though from all the high caffeine people that are used to those energy drinks that are 200, 300, 400? Because I've seen some of the feeds. Yeah. And you're very kind with not deleting them because, it's like I see some of these people hating you a little bit. Yeah. Oh, I can't do that because it's not an X company with 300 milligrams.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking that's a few select people that you don't get too much hate on the amount of caffeine.
So funny, right? Where we get flack from the people who want more caffeine. And then I just tell them like I don't, it's hard sometimes.
Just drink 3 of them.
Well, yeah, you could do that. But I tell people, I'm like, listen, because I don't like to feel like I'm like talking down to people because if you don't know if you don't know someone and you like try to educate them and try to like give them the other side of it, they can take it the wrong way, right? So I try to be as like approachable as possible when it comes to these things and like find a good way to tell them, well, listen, you can drink those drinks. I'm not telling you where to spend your money. I'm not telling you how to spend your money, but I will consult with your doctor. Your doctor will tell you 400 milligrams. 400 milligrams is about where is the max. That's not an average. That's a max you should be. And if you have 300 today, then do another 300 tomorrow. That means across 2 days you're at 600 milligrams.
Yeah.
And that's not even a full 24-hour span. So do what you want, but to keep a healthy heart, healthy body, and to keep that sharp pain from hitting your chest, you might want to lower your caffeine intake because it's healthier for you. How you do that is on you. If you want to get our drink with 100, we'd be happy with that. If you want to split another one, go for it. But and on the other side, we have the people who say we have too much caffeine. I'm like, okay, we have too much caffeine. You're not like, oh, but
then
we're not
just sensitive.
Yeah, like
caffeine.
Yeah, like we're not coffee drinkers. I'm like 100 milligrams is exactly around like a 12-ounce cup of coffee. 12-ounce cup of coffee is 100 mil. It's like 120. It's around like between 100 and 120 for 100 for 12-ounce black coffee. I'm like, so you just don't drink coffee or caffeine, which is understandable. But yeah, we get that a lot from people on the other side, but they still buy the drink and they still
we don't snark at them. We just educate them.
Yeah, and it's on them. Like you spend your money how you want. We can only give you one side of it. We're not telling you we're not making you buy our drink. We're just telling you what, because like they'll ask questions like the most hated question I get asked, and I hate this question. And she knows where I'm about to go. What makes you different? And I'm gonna tell you why I hate
me. That's it, brother. Me.
So I don't like the question because I feel like people are expecting you to give some grand answer.
Yeah.
As far as like what makes you different, because it could be the little thing that makes it different, right? Like our flavor profile is different than other people's flavor profile with our ingredients. we need less ingredients to do more. We're not packing you with a bunch of different ingredients. We're not packing you with a bunch of different vitamins. We got the amino acids and the B vitamins, because B vitamins provide energy. So if you take the B vitamins and amino acids and you pair it with 100 milligrams of caffeine, it's going to do its job, right? And our flavor profile. And I feel like people, they want you to like get on a soapbox and say like these grand things, and it's just not like, you don't ask what's the difference between different beer companies, right? Besides the maker, like the maker and the flavors, like that's the true difference between each. And for us, it's our image, right? Our image is different. Not saying it's better or worse, right? It's different because we are the front-facing people of our company. We're out there at these events. We're mingling with it. We're mingling with the people. We're responding to your messages. We're coming in contact with you. So we're very face forward with with our approach. And on top of that, like I said, our flavor profile and our caffeine intake, which, by the way, for anyone listening, if you look in other countries, their caffeine intake is around 100 milligrams, because per their health officials, an energy drink should not have more than 100 milligrams of caffeine. Some companies get around it, by, like I said, by saying 2 serving sizes, but they do that so they can be sold in other countries. So 100 milligrams is what other places around the world are also leaning towards.
And we don't put coloring in our drinks as well.
Yep. And it's tough because I think in our world, I'll say the health and fitness world, because we're all in it, that we're just naturally over caffeinated. I keep myself, and not putting myself on a soapbox here, I keep myself very low caffeinated, and that's the way I am. Like, I'll take a pre-workout, 200 to 300, and when I saw this is perfect because I'm sipping on it now, and generally, like, I can have maybe a light cup of coffee to keep me awake in the afternoon, but if I have anything past like 7, 8 o'clock, I can't sleep. That's how sensitive I am.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at 100 milligrams. I'm like, this is perfect. Where my rest of my family, my wife, my 2 kids, they're Colombian. So half their blood is caffeine. They can have a whole pot of coffee. But I digress. I think in general, though, to get back, I have people that have those 2 cans of those 300 milligrams back to back and go work out. And they're just crazy. But anyway.
Yeah. And like like I always tell people, right? You want to make sure you take care of your body while you're young or old or whatever, right? Because everything you do when you're young is going to catch up to you the older you get. So if you abuse certain things and you don't take care of your organs, such as your heart, it's not going to be well for you when you hit your 50s and 60s. Because the older you get, your body doesn't bounce back the same way. The same way people getting drunk in their 20s thinking, and then do the same thing in their 30s. That it lasts a lot longer.
So now, how long did it take you guys to come up with the formula? How many renditions or iterations did you for that?
Our first go around, we did 1 trial run because we knew exactly what we wanted it to taste like, and we did a few samples of other beverages that we were like, we don't want it to taste like X, Y, and Z. We told them what ingredients we wanted to extract and what we think is going to be healthier for the consumer. And we did 1 trial run and they hit it on the nose. I'm sure as we go into different flavors, we'll probably do more trial runs and actually do surveys with the public. But the trial run in itself, it took 4 weeks?
Yeah, it took 4 weeks.
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Right.
So
we got lucky.
Now, for the energy drink side, is getting the carbonation right, or is that pretty much standard? Did you have to learn about like percentage of the carbonation?
You got to learn about the balancing and the formations, formulations, the carbonation levels. You have to do ball test cans to make sure that when they're actually filling your cans, the can itself is not exploding, or it won't explode mid-transit due to certain combustion levels and heat levels. So there's a lot of trial and error with it. We actually had our cans ball certified. So
the testing. Listen, the testing of the carbonation, that was honestly the toughest part.
Yeah.
Everything else was easier, right? Because we can follow a checklist. I don't know how the hell you measure carbonation. When our co-packer, the first one, so we went to a new one for our second run, for the bigger run, and he was like, "So how you want your carbonation?" I'm like, "How the hell am I supposed to know?" I mean, you guys don't know what's a good carbonation level, right? Well, listen, what we don't want. So I was like, all right, we don't want Monster carbonation. We want it lighter than Monster, right? Because they've done those. I'm like, what kind of products have you worked on? so I can know where we want to land.
Sure.
No Monster, 2 carbonate. We want something lighter than that. So he did a sample for us. He did about half of that ish, and then he sent it to us, and it was perfect. I'm like, all right, well, whatever that is, we need to write that down because we need that moving forward. Because I didn't know how to, like, I tried Googling it. I tried doing my research. I'm like, what is
like
Sprite?
what do you compare it to?
I'm like, so I was like, all right, what is Sprite? What is this? What is that? We don't want Sprite. People throats to be burning. Sprite, trying to pound it before they go back there and work out. I'm like, we don't want that. So we just like had to like use other examples that they've worked with and like try to land somewhere in between it. And then that led to us buying all of these drinks, testing it. Okay, not this, and taking notes on them.
Okay. So now, if you were to do a Google search, I mean, is it just as simple of, energy drink manufacturer, or I mean, are there a lot of them out there?
There a good amount out there. So for us, our lab gave us a list initially of co-packers that well, to find a lab, I just Googled drink labs
or co-packing.
So like drink labs and
but it's not as easy as just Googling.
You have to sift through a lot.
You have to sift through a lot. You have to really engage and communicate, set up these phone calls. A lot of them, they will literally like just, if you send in like an inquiry, it will take them months to get back to you. Let alone like just doing an intro call. Some, they will do an intro call for a fee, or just to send you their capability statement, if you will. Like it's like going through a government contract. You got to go through like months worth of BS and getting an algorithm with these people. But I'm telling you, but our first potential person, they wanted like $42,000 up front, and we weren't getting any samples or what have you. I'm like, what?
Like for initial consult?
No,
initial run.
For the initial run, not including shipping, not including ingredients, none of that. I was like, listen, we're not doing that. Like, we are not.
So it's like you really just have to be like careful and really like honestly know like who that co-packer you want to really partner with, because that is a really long process just to get that relationship going, let alone forking over loads of money and knowing that process could turn out good or bad. I think our one nervous moment was when we went down to actually get our pallets. We were like, please let it taste how we tasted it 4 months ago.
Yeah. I've heard horror stories from supplement companies that they do the profile and they get it and it's completely different from whatever the profile I wanted.
No, exactly. Like for us, I tell people this all the time. Anyone listening who wants to start any type of business, whether it's supplements or anything, always get to the first step, right? Like one of my favorite quotes by Langston Hughes is, the only way to get a thing done is to start to do it. Right. So if you want to get something done, you just have to take that first step, and let's break it down into parts, right? When you climb the stairs, you don't jump to the top, you go one step at a time. So start at the very base level and see what you want and how you can get the first step done. For us, it was finding a lab, because everyone else, they tried to do it to where we went with them for every single thing, and they wanted to settle us with like 50, 60,000 cans. I'm like, we don't know if we can sell this. Why do we want that much? So we end up going with a lab who gave us exactly what we wanted. They knew exactly what we wanted to do, and we built a great relationship with them. Like we communicate with them all the time, and they follow us. They order our product. They have our product in their office hanging up. So so we do a lot of great things with them. But they're the main reason why we are where we are now, because them opening their lab up and taking that first step, and then essentially connecting us with a bunch of different businesses that they worked with, like co-packers and stuff like that. And then we just started making phone calls and seeing who can do the run that we wanted to do.
They allowed us to actually learn.
Yeah. And they taught really well. They taught very well. And like I said early on, and she was a G about it. She said, you can either pay me to do it, or I can tell you how to do it. So I'm like, tell us how to do it. So then we got a little notepads, and we just sit there and we learn how to do it. And I think that's what really helped. So anyone, like someone asked me the other day when we did a pop-up at a gym, like how do you start a business, and this break it down to the root, and then figure out how you get the first step done and take it from there.
Yeah.
And it's tough because there's so much, I hate to say this, but there's so much deception in the life sciences industries, whether it's supplements and whatnot, that you don't, we'll just leave it at that. So I
Yeah.
give you guys, I'm glad you guys found a good relationship, and it sounds like that they're treating you well and vice versa. So I'm happy for you guys.
Mhm.
Yeah, absolutely. They save us a lot of money, so it's okay if we send them some lunch every once in a while and some Christmas gift. And like she's big into sending flowers, right? So she sent every lady in our office flowers, like she did, like because she's a flower person herself. So like we'll take care of them because they're definitely taking care of us, and we have some plans coming up in the future that we're working on with them as well. So we're gonna keep bringing them business, and they're gonna keep hooking us up.
Yeah.
Nice. So how did you guys come up with flavors? How'd you decide on the 2 flavors?
So she mentioned that she's not an energy drink person. She wasn't. She is now. She wasn't. She did not know what a good flavor was. Right?
So wait. You're not an energy drink person, but you came in wanting to start an energy drink?
She wasn't.
Oh, just because I'm not a connoisseur doesn't mean I can't sell it.
So her motivation was actually me, because I was an energy drink person. So her motivation was more so me, because of like seeing me drink it and that stuff, right?
Okay.
And I taking her to like some powerlifting meet, and she saw like my boys drinking some drinks. So her motivation was me, but she wasn't. She drinks it now, right? Because like she had a drink that was pretty much like mirrors like what she wanted to put on her body and stuff of that nature. But early on, like she didn't know what a good taste was. I probably bought, I shit you not, like 50, 60 cans of different flavors of energy drinks. And we just sat there and tried it. I knew what I wanted to go with. So the watermelon kiwi was actually her idea, because that's where we kind of landed. So we had another brand that they had a kiwi and a something else. And we said, how would it taste if we put it together? So then we put watermelon kiwi together, and then we told our lab, and they sent us a sample. Orange mango, that was all me. So I like orange. I like orange flavor stuff, right? So to help me sell Tony on it, right? Because it's a collaboration. I hit up Susan from Drink Lab and listen, what are the top flavors right now amongst beverages? She said the top 5. Number 1 was orange. And I think somewhere close, not too far down, was mango. I was like, why don't we go with orange mango, right? Like they're trending. They're most requested.
They're most requested, and they do like a whole breakdown analytics of like how brands across the country are like gravitating towards these certain brands, these certain flavors when it comes to developing and going into production. And like orange is like a highly popular flavor amongst consumers. So it's a whole, you don't just pick a flavor, like it's a whole analytics behind it.
Yeah, because you can't buy a bunch of flavors that only you like, right? Like you can't do that because you won't sell. You have to get what the average person would drink, right? Because if you please 60 out of 40%, it's like you're doing something great,
right?
Because you have to get something that the majority likes. So watermelon kiwi was actually on the list of like a well-liked beverage, and then orange mango. Once again, everyone loves orange, and like that's like a really popular flavor that people are gravitating to across all markets, not just energy drinks.
Yeah.
As I tell people, that's got to be the hardest thing, because it's you got to come up with the formulation hard, but I don't know if it's even harder for doing the flavors, because I always say, do you play it safe? When I say like a fruit punch or just a generic watermelon, or do you go a little exotic?
That's the first thing.
Gamble it.
Yeah.
And obviously your gamble is paid off, because again, you've got orange, which is, I'm gonna say not safe, but it's a unique flavor because there's not a lot of orange flavored stuff. But again, to mix it with the mango, I mean, but I'm going with this, and I'm paid off. It sounds like.
Yeah, it did. And I was nervous, right? Just like she said, like, so what we wanted to do was we wanted to make it a full experience. We didn't hire anyone to go pick up our pallets. I rented a big ass Penske truck.
This is the first run.
Our first run, right? So and it was months later. So the last time we tasted our drink was in November of 2021. We didn't.
So how many cans? So when you say pallet though, but how many cans are you picking up in this truck?
7,000.
Jesus. Okay.
So 7,000 cans, and I had to get a big truck because I had to get something that was dock height, because I backed that truck up to the dock, and they loaded it up and we left, right? But the entire drive up to New Jersey. So we live in Maryland. Up to New Jersey, I'm nervous as hell. I'm like, I hope this drink tastes the way we remember, right? Because it's been so long. And so the whole time that we got up there, the first thing I did was I popped one of the packages open. I took a can out and I drank it, and I was like, okay, we're good. So then I gave it to Tony. It was hot as hell because it was cold,
but it tastes good.
But it tastes good, right? So I was like, all right, this is perfect. And then after we finished that can, I brought the can back and I put it in our warehouse, and we signed it like first can off of the pallets, and it was perfect.
Yeah.
Okay.
The rebrand was fun. Nerve-wracking, but fun.
See, and the other thing too, I got to give you guys a lot of credit to, because I've I see a lot of supplement companies open up, and so again, I'll place you in the supplement kind of industry. That they think I'm going to open up a supplement company because I got 4,000 followers on Instagram, and I'm going to sell out because I'm going to do a post. But you guys are doing it right. You guys are at events. You guys are hustling. You're setting up tables. You're doing booths. And I give you credit because a lot of people, like, let's say 2 out of every 10 companies understand that you got to be out there hustling, shaking hands, kissing babies type of thing.
Yep.
In every one of your posts, I see you guys out there at either the gyms or events or an Alzheimer's event. And I think you did something else recently.
Yeah. We're out there. I mean, you have to be. I tell Supreme all the time, like, I don't expect, and this is no like offense to the people that do help us or our brand ambassadors, what have you, but I'd be damned if I don't make sure that our company is being represented every day. And that I'm not making sure that happens, because if we just literally, with any brand, if you just allowed your consumers that are fly by, they come and they go, or your brand ambassadors, if you will, they come and they go. If you only depended on that, you really wouldn't scale to your potential.
You'll get washed out.
You'll get washed out, and if you're not keeping up with the current and things of that nature, you'll get washed out. People are so astonished that we, less than a year old, that we have become top 16 energy drink brand.
Stack 3D, let's not forget that. You guys are up against some big people. You didn't win, but you guys
boys.
did very, very well for a brand new company. And Stack 3D is the place to put your name on. I know Shane very well.
Yes.
Shane, listen, shout out to Shane.
When Shane stamped it, it's like, all right. When we saw the lineup, I was like, oh my God.
Hold on 1 second. Let me say this real quick, because we had some haters on the post trying to act like that people we were getting favors and we were paying. That's not how it was run. It was run by people voting. Stack 3D did not do anything, because if they did, don't you think we would have made it further? We made it top 16, which was great for energy drink less than a year of launching, launching and everything. It was on the up and up. They put it out there, and the people spoke, and then people rated us top 16. So for anyone out there who were questioning it or anything like that, like the people said it.
Shane's very good because I'm sure you guys voted, obviously, that he has some kind of software that sniffs out if it's a bot or not. It'll know if it's a real human. Whether you're doing it multiple times is one thing, which is fine.
You can do it multiple times. That's the thing. Like, you can only vote like one time a week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yes.
Yeah. So it was. But listen, Shane was great, and it's like she said, like it's been a wild ride. And it's been fun, right? Like, we're having a great time. We love going out to events, and we love doing these things.
Yeah.
We love interacting with people. Like, I run a staffing agency, and I was a career recruiter before that. So for me, talking with people is like a common thing, right? So and we have a lot of fun. Like, we do, like, we play games with the people that come to our booth. We interact with them.
Yeah.
We give our we do videos with them, all types of stuff to engage with them, because just like Tony said, like, we can't rely on other people to push our brand. We have to be the ones out there pushing it. And for example, our distributor, he asked us, can you guys go out with the sales team when they pitch your drink to our stores? We were like, yeah, absolutely. And he said, you don't have to go. Our sales team is amazing, but I know that you will find much more success if you're there, owner to owner, also talking with the owners who are making the decision.
Heck yeah.
Because you can speak more to your drink.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what stores are you? What stores are you in? Because again, it's hard to keep up lately with you guys because it's big announcement. Because I follow you on LinkedIn, I follow you on Instagram, and I'm kind of like bouncing back and forth here.
So stores, so the thing is, so stores we'll shoot out a list over the next few weeks because that list will change. We're in
Got it.
Apex Nutrition down in South Carolina as far as like a supplement store. We're in a gang of gyms from L&M all the way in California. We're in Scranton, PA. We're in Crunch. We're in L&M. We're in Powerhouse. We're in Golds. So we're in Rock Fitness in Texas.
Yep.
So like we're all over the place and we're in a ton of gyms.
We're
But
also on Amazon as well.
Also on Amazon, but like our main focus is now that we have distribution and distributor is conquering the C-store market, going into the supermarket. So we're looking to get into some C-stores and convenience stores. Also, some other beverage chain stuff, so like liquor distribution, right? Because people when they go out to party, they may grab themselves a bottle and they also grab themselves an energy drink to get themselves up to get ready to party. So we're entering those fields now. But over the next few weeks, we'll have a bigger idea as far as like where exactly we'll be, but mainly in the DMV area for distribution right now. And then coming soon, maybe even Toronto or Canada.
Do you guys? Out
there?
I'm sorry, Tony.
I said you got to put that one out there.
It's a little something.
You gotta go. You gotta think big, guys. You can't start small. You think big and just conquer like you guys have been doing.
I will say this, like majority the seems like the trend is people come shooting out with 2, 3, 4, 5 beverages, and with us, we are not influencers, right? A lot of these brands out there, they have influencers backing their brand, and then they go into making a product, or you have a really well-known brand that that's their niche, that's an energy drink, right? So for us, we understood that we are new to the game, we're new faces, we're not influencers, we're literally everyday people that's just going out there hustling a brand that they believe in. So we have to come with a different approach. Like we really have no choice but to. And I think with our personality, with wanting to expand ourselves as much as we can, I think that's how we are able to sit and talk with you, able to connect with Spencer from KOS.
Yes, can't forget Spencer.
Able to speak with John, the Wing King, and he wants us to be sponsors for the Buffalo Wing Fest at the Highmark Stadium for the Buffalo Bills. So it's like us really going out there and taking a chance on ourselves. Quite frankly, that's really what it is.
But I think it's important because I had a conversation on a previous podcast that there's brands that come out with a product and they're a brand, but when you can associate either a person or a mascot or something with the brand, and you folks are both in front of the brand, like you're not hiding behind Octane. You guys are out there loud and proud. And I think that's what resonates with people is you have somebody to associate with. Again, whether it's someone that wants to interact with the beautiful female Tony, whether it's someone that wants to interact with a strong guy named I Supreme, you got somebody to talk to, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It makes complete sense. And I think, and going back to the previous question, like what makes us different, and early on the answer I would give was you don't see the owners of those other brands talking to you right now.
You don't.
You see us, right? Like we're here. You, and it's a family run. We have our kids at us with events. Like, listen, we packed them kids up. They go to Texas. We drove from Maryland to Texas, like straight drive, like no stopping, like straight 24 hours from Maryland to Texas, overnight, during the day, Texas for an event, for an NPC show out there, and for like a really, really huge event. Like Helio put on a great event. It was like he pretty much like sold out a hangar. And he did a great job. So we did that, and then we spent the night, got the next morning, went to the event, completed the event, and got right back on the road with our kids, right back from Texas.
They had school, so
we had to make it back before they had to go to school.
That's good school.
And how old are they again?
17 and 14.
Well, she just turned 17, my daughter. So 17 and 14, yeah.
So yeah, it was and that's who we are, right?
Yeah.
Like, we'll get out there, we'll go to these things, and if we're being honest, there's sometimes it's like because we're human, right? Like we don't feel like doing all of these things because it's exhausting. because we have like things that we're doing around the house. We want to spend time with our kids. We want to have some family time, and we're like, you know what? We have to do it. It's great for us to do it, and we're grateful to be in a position to do those things.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're human. But we just push past it, and like we just like lean on each other in those moments to help bring the other one to the right mental space to go in and do those things. Because like once we're there, we're locked in. We're having a great time and stuff like that.
But let me ask you a question to kind of flip it. What made you get into what made you develop Subtalk? Because as myself, I know how much energy it takes for someone to get on camera and learn these different personalities and the brand, if you will, about someone and truly absorb it.
Yeah, that's a great question. I love it. It's been a while since I've been asked that. So this year it's actually 10 years, okay,
wow,
that I've been doing it, but I've kind of started and stopped. So I've always been a supplement user for many, many years. And I always fell in love, was a big user of the smaller brands, okay? Because I felt like sometimes the smaller brands had the better quality products, but they were getting buried. We're going back, obviously, in the 2000s with print media, getting buried by these companies that had the $1 million ad campaigns. And also the fact that a lot of these supplement users really didn't know about supplements. They were like, dude, take these because it feels like ants are crawling on you, or take these because you feel, like you're on crack. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and just start bringing on these smaller brands to educate, but also give them a platform to be heard on. Because again, they're competing against these, like, again, let's face it, you guys are amongst the rock stars, and I hate to say it, the Bangs and everybody else that, you're the type of people that I love to bring on because you're down to earth, you're humble, great product. And again, just an additional platform to be heard.
Yes.
Much appreciated.
That's much appreciated.
And that's the way I look at it. And I have another podcast as well with the professional bodybuilders that I love as well. But again, it started as a hobby, and over the last 2 years, it's gotten more and more energy behind it with COVID and whatnot. And that's what I love it. Meeting great people like you both.
Nice. I wanted to ask that question because as such as yourself, I had a podcast called Brain, Beauty, and Bank. And I had started it during the midst of COVID because, a lot of the big money brands, they're having that extra, fluff of money to go out there and keep their businesses going, while these other small brands or homegrown brands, they're like tanking or having to, go the PPP route. So I'm like, what can I do to say, I've helped in some sense? And I created Brains, Beauty, and Bank to bring on like entrepreneurs such as yourself to like give them that platform or highlight them, because there's constant, for me, I think it was like a FU to the beauty community because whenever you saw an ad for said holiday or Memorial Day, you're always getting the big brands getting highlighted. Or go buy here and you got the big brands or what have you. And I'm like, wow, that really sucks that, people such as myself, they're really out there getting it and going for it and got the clientele, but they're not really getting that representation like they should, that spotlight like they should. So that was one of my reasons for creating my podcast. So I salute to you, because that takes a lot of intellect. It takes a lot of courage, and it also takes a lot of research, because you got to actually go out there and find them.
Yes. I look at it as therapy too. Sometimes I do have a lot of same friends on the call, but it's therapy, and again, I learn new things from different people.
Nice.
No, that's great. We definitely appreciate you reaching out and like bringing us on. Just like she said, like, and you said, like, we're really down to earth people. Like, we don't mind holding conversations. Like, we do it because we love it. We also do it because it's also our business, right? If we want our drink to be out there, we want people to gravitate to our drink. We also got to let people get a chance to get a peek behind the curtain, like the people who are trying to push the drink to them and trying to get them to buy said drink, right? The more you learn about us and the more you learn about our brand, the more comfortable you feel when it comes to actually purchasing our drink and choosing us over the other big brands, right? Because we understand where we are, right? We understand what's going on and like who has these other brands and who these other brands are tied to and stuff of that nature. Yeah. So it's an uphill battle, but if we're out here together fighting it, and we're out here together pushing that rock up the hill, then yeah, then at some point we'll reach the peak, and we'll be able to say that we made it. And I feel like
Yeah.
honestly, we started definitely like getting to that point where we're like, maybe we are doing some great things. Like maybe
Yeah.
we are out here like helping people out and doing these things with people, and that they truly appreciate. And I think being at the gym for the Alzheimer's event was kind of like a wake up call, because the people that were there and like the things that they had to say about us, and telling us, "Oh, we've seen you before. Oh, I've had your drink. It's so good." And like people like buying cases at a time,
Yeah.
right there in person, because they wanted to support, and like they love the product. So being in that position, it was actually amazing.
I will say this to piggyback off of what he said. I think we knew our reach last year, honestly. But it was the scaling financially where we really couldn't see our potential. And I'll give you an example. We had a really big organization reach out to us, and they wanted us to sponsor an event. It's the PFL. They reached out to us, and they wanted us to sponsor their athletes and sponsor their shows.
Sponsor the PFL.
Well, sponsor the PFL.
Okay.
And they wanted like a whole baby leg. Like they wanted everything.
They wanted the entire firstborn.
And I'm gonna say 6 digits. I would just say that.
Oh, geez.
And I was like, Supreme, like we can't do that. We cannot do that. Like, and that was a moment for me where it was a gut punch, but it also realized what people see us, or where they see us. That was the wake up call.
And to go a little like another detail about that, he reached out to us about a month after launching, right? And that's because before we launched, we were already sponsoring events, we were already sponsoring shows.
Yeah.
We were going out to shows, so we had a lot of foot traffic already. So when we launched, it was just open the floodgates. So he saw the amount of traction that we instantly got, and he was like, "Oh, let me reach out to them." So I actually had to talk with him in the gym. So he called me while I was working out, and I was working legs, so that was a good time to take a little bit of a break. But
he thought you guys were balling already, didn't he?
Yeah. He did. So he called, and we were talking, and I was like, I'm gonna be honest with you, that is way outside of what we're trying to do right now. Like it's an amazing opportunity, but like she said, like the price tag was just too high. And I said, listen, you understand, we did launch like a month ago. Like, it wasn't.
It's no secret.
And then he came back. He came back a few times, right? And we maintained a good relationship. We met with him. We met with his team, and we took that as like a learning experience, right?
Yeah.
Like we learned a lot, and he was a great sport about it. Like, and he even told us what was going on as far as the future plans, and we like when we turned it down and stuff of that nature. And yeah, we just maintain contact. He still follows us on LinkedIn. He still follows our stuff. Yeah. He's like, well, maybe we could talk again in a couple of years. I'm like, yeah, that'd be great. And but yeah, it was something where we had to like realize where we are, and also at the same time realize the kind of perception that we're putting out there. Like people out there, like they see us and they see, oh, they're balling, they're successful, they're probably flying private. No, we're driving. Like we're driving, like we were too cheap to ship our stuff. We're like,
I'll drive in a minute.
It's called frugal, my man. It ain't cheap. My wife will say frugal. It's okay.
Frugal.
Yeah, it's very, very frugal. So like we're like, yeah, we'll throw our stuff in the truck and we'll drive, right? We'll do those things to cut corners and save money, so therefore we could put more into other areas.
Yeah.
Because every time we ordered, we had to double.
Oh yeah.
Not a bad space to be in, brother.
Not at all.
So what's next for you guys? I mean, we see new flavors, or it's still too early to ask that question, or kind of what's next the next 6 months or year for you guys?
So we are working on 2 new things. We're working on something with the rehab clinic for like physical rehab. So working on something with a rehab clinic where he wants us to come out with a special drink that's specifically for helping people recover after they go through the treatment, whether it's an IV drip and stuff of that nature.
Oh, nice.
And we're also partnering with a specific Olympian who are coming out with a signature drink for her. And that is something, more details to come. Stay tuned for Olympia. She's going dark right now, getting ready to take to take over again. Looking forward to seeing her up there. But yeah, so come Olympia, we're gonna drop a ton of details and yeah, let everyone know what we have going on.
And then we also we're going to be at the Buffalo Wing Fest Liberty Weekend at the Highmark Stadium, Buffalo Bills Stadium. We're going to be there. We're going to have one of our brand ambassadors, Joseph McNeil. He's going to be out there representing with us. And what else do we have going on? Of course, we just got our distribution in Maryland, so we're gonna be in a lot of C stores. Yay! We're gonna be in a lot of C stores in the area. We're probably doing some pop-up samples, meet and greets, things of that nature. And
we have a couple expos. We have an expo in Richmond coming up as well.
Oh yeah, we have our ATAC Expo. Where we're gonna be doing. We're being the premier energy drink for that expo. That's taking place September 21st in Richmond, Virginia. And that's enough. And
I'm sure there's more stuff that we're not even thinking about right now because like we're so focused. Like my focus is the Buffalo Wing Fest because it's so huge. Yeah. And then from there, like with distribution, I'm already pricing out because they want to buy a lot. So I'm like, all right, we need to work on another order because they want to take up a lot of our inventory so they can ship it around. So I'm already thinking about that stuff. And thinking about like pricing out. Cause now we have to go. We went double. Now we're gonna have to go triple, and just keep steadily increasing how much we order. Yeah. And pretty soon we're gonna be looking for a new warehouse, cause we're already outgrowing this one. It's been a year.
Do I hear Shark Tank on the horizon here? Maybe visit the Shark Tank.
Actually, it's funny you say that. They did reach out to us.
They did.
Did they really? Okay.
Yeah, they did. So they really reached out. I turned it down because when they reached out, it was in January? It was right after Olympia. So it was in January, I believe. They reached out via LinkedIn and like one of the producers, and we had a conversation. And I was like, well, let's do this. Let's talk again later on this year. Right now we're working on a rebrand, and we want to just like stay head down, really focus on that. We want to focus on our rebrand. We want to focus on our new beverage. We want to focus on like expanding our horizons, getting into stores. Cause at that moment, we're like, listen, we need to get out of gyms. Gyms are amazing, right? Yes. But people love C stores, right?
They do.
If you go 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, and you go to 7-Eleven, I guarantee if you see 20 people in that line, at least 8 of them got energy drinks in their hands, all different kinds. They walk in, they grab something off the shelf, and they put it in their hand, and they keep it moving. They look at the flavor, and like they're gone. So I'm like, we need to really go into that market because my father's a working dude. He's been getting up at 2 o'clock in the morning my entire life. I think out of the Army, he's a construction worker. So I know how much of a grind it is for the workers to get up and have to like hard labor all day.
And the C stores, like the big gas stations, like your Loves and your Buc-ee's, those are expanding rapidly. And of course we would know because we're on the road all the time. They're expanding rapidly. So it's a really good market. And you know, maybe one day we'll franchise a Buc-ee's.
Well, I'm in Massachusetts here. We got Cumberland's is a big thing for us up here.
Oh, listen, I'm from New York, right? I lived up in New York, so Cumberland Farms, that was definitely the place.
Yeah. So, guys, where can people learn about you guys? Plug the website, your 86 social medias, or whatever one you're most popular on. I mean, let people know where to reach out to you guys.
So you can find us on Amazon. Just type in Octane Energy or Octane Energy Drink, any variation of those words, and we'll pop right up on Amazon. You can find us on octaneenergy.com. That is our website. Our personals, you have Tony_Covington, my wife, and myself is iSupremeW. And for our business page, you have Octane Energy, Octane International, Octane Gear. We're coming out with we didn't even think about this. So for Octane Gear, we're coming out with a deeper clothing line because people love our apparel. So we're adding a lot to the Octane Gear clothing line as well. So stay tuned on Octane Gear. And our Octane International, that's for our international partners, such as the football team, the Diablos in Paris as well. So yeah, did I miss any? Oh, Full Octane. So Full Octane, that's actually my page. So Full Octane.
I love you guys.
It's a podcast page, and also Octane Games. See?
Yeah.
That's it.
Sure now, nothing else?
Yeah.
And for folks that are listening to this on the audio platforms, it's Oktane, no C, Oktane. And the folks here at Octane were nice enough to give me a code. If you use capital STOK, get 20% off a 24-pack on the website. Guys, it's truly been a pleasure. I wish you guys the absolute best. Like, it sounds like obviously in this short time, you guys are over the moon. You've met your numbers, your business goals are in alignment, and it's onward and upward for you guys.
It's only the beginning.
We definitely want to talk again in a couple months. I think leading up to the Buffalo Wings Fest, we definitely want to reconnect because since you were so gracious enough to reach out to us and like bring us on your platform, if we premiere anything, we're going to premiere in 2 places: Stack 3D and Sub Talk Radio.
Okay.
You guys are too kind. Anyway, guys, it's been a pleasure. Hold on for just a minute. And for everybody watching and listening, thank you so much. Have a great week. And again, octaneenergy.com, OKTANE energy.com. Take care. Have a great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.